So in this video, I'm going to be creating an NYPD walnut and maple badge on the CNC machine. So to begin with, I've got my walnut blank here that I've glued up, and I just cut my maple veneer a little bit oversized for the walnut blank. And then using just some regular wood glue, just go ahead and spread it around everywhere on the walnut blank. It doesn't have to be too thick, which I prefer it not to be too thick just because it could bubble underneath and not dry. But just make sure it covers everywhere. That's the most important part. And then since I don't have a veneer bag, basically what I do is I just take the heaviest piece of wood I can find, this 8/4 sapele here, and just grab a bunch of Bessie clamps and then just go ahead and clamp everywhere you possibly can on this thing. Those pieces on the side there that don't have the sapele covering it, I'll just slide a piece of wood in there and clamp that down too. So everywhere you possibly can clamp this thing, clamp it and you'll be fine. Eventually I'll get a vacuum bag, but clamping works for now. Alright, so now that we've got it all clamped up, let's leave it in the clamps for 48 hours minimum. And one thing I wanted to try here was, instead of using wood glue, let's use some contact cement with the veneer. So here I'm applying the maple veneer to a piece of cherry using 3M contact cement. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this on the CNC immediately. I want to see what it looks like without any drying time, going right to carving. And what we'll do is we'll take that and we'll compare the immediate carving with giving it 24 hours for the contact cement to dry and then carving it. And so now let's take a look. This is 24 hours of drying and then carving the veneer. And as you can see, I mean, I can already tell that it's a cleaner carve than immediately carving after gluing. We'll zoom in here and take a closer look. This is the carved immediately one, and you can tell the P and police was completely torn off. The carves themselves, the V-carves, don't look that clean. So definitely I wouldn't recommend carving immediately after gluing. It really doesn't look that great at all. But let's compare that to the 24 hours. And you can definitely tell there's a better, it's just a cleaner carve. The P and police is still there. It still needs some cleaning up. Not perfect, but definitely a lot better than carving immediately after gluing. Alright, so now that 48 hours has passed, we can take all these clamps off and see how the gluing did. Now the main thing we want to check for is that there are no bubbles in the veneer. The bubbles will kill us if there's there, and there's not. So let's go right here. You could trim this up anyway. I just did it on the jointer because I've got it, so use it. Usually don't like joining cross grain like that, but alright, so now I just give it a quick sand to get rid of the glue marks on there. You don't want to sand too much because the veneer is super thin, which you can see right here. So just like I said, just sand it to clean it up a little bit, and that's about it. Alright, so I throw it on the CNC, and I'll use a V-carve toolpath with a clearance tool. The clearance tool that I use is just an eighth inch end mill with a 90-degree V-bit on these. And it just goes slow. Just go very slow. That's all I do with veneer. Is just I'd rather take longer to cut it so that it comes out clean. Alright, so with the clearance toolpath all done, we'll move over to the 90-degree V-bit for the V-carving. And you'll see once we start that, it'll clean a lot of this up. So if you look at the right side there, the V-bit has run through all that and it looks really clean. Same thing on the other side. All right, and this is what it looks like once we've cut out the numbers on the badge here, and now we're cutting the actual badge out of the blank. I don't go all the way through, so I cut the rest out on the bandsaw. Of course, I probably could have used a thinner blade, but hey, I was resawing some wood, and that's what I had in there, so I went with it. Just to give it a finished look while it's hanging on the wall, it looks really nice if you chamfer the back or round over the back. Either one works. And then everyone's favorite part, we sand. But at least with this, we don't have to sand too much, right? So just sand the front, the sides, the back. in preparation for the next step, which will be applying our finish. And in this case, for this one, we're using Total Halcyon. I believe this is the gloss version. It seems to be a good finish. Applies easy, dries nice, cleans up nice. So definitely recommend it. And here's what it looks like when the badge is complete. So if you have any questions about the process, feel free to hit me up. And hey, if you'd like to get one made, also hit me up. My email's listed. All right. Have a good one.